Hey, what's up guys? It's Jonathan with Rev Free Moto. I'm here just outside of Louisa, Virginia, and I wanted to show you something really quick before we get going on our ride today. Here's my Janus Halcyon 450. That's what we're going to be riding today. But even cooler, check this out. And this is the path that I took to get to this old, broken down, abandoned school bus, which is just here on the side of the road. I think it's wild. But then in the background you have a completely abandoned house, and right up here against the railroad track. Now that building up there says it's some sort of a flea market, so maybe they have some sort of a flea market here on the weekends. I'm not sure, but looks like these carports here have definitely seen better days. This school bus, I don't know how old it is. The engine's gone from it. And if you look inside, it's like maybe they were using it for storage or something like that. Hard to say how long it's been sitting here. A little bit of an echo going on in here. Watch out for snakes and bees, right? Hopefully it's early enough in the season. And I don't know, it says county public schools, but I don't know what that used to say. It's hard to there's an FAX, so it might be Fairfax County. But this school bus, if I had to guess, just looking at the front of it, man, I really don't want to go inside, but there's like I don't know how stable this thing is. It's up on blocks. Should be alright, right? There's a plate right here. It says, I was trying to see if it would say what year it was. There's I don't want to get up in there that much. But anyway, pretty cool. Today we're going to talk about the big bike lie. And it's like, what the heck are you talking about? What is the big bike lie? Well, we're going to get into that. We'll do a quick walk around of the bike. Oh, this is new. I've added a fuel bottle, because this motorcycle only has a 2.1 gallon tank, which is a little small. It does get over 60 miles to the gallon, so it gets really good fuel economy. But this holds another 30 ounces of fuel, so that's kind of nice. And I did put some fuel in it today before I took off from the house. All right, beautiful day. Thanks so much for joining me today, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to Rev Free Moto, then please consider subscribing. I kind of want to see what's over there, but yeah, let's see if there's anything over there worth checking out. This gravel's okay, but you should see what I traversed to get here. You'll see that in a minute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's I'm not going in there. That's super sketch. In this building, the main gate is actually closed, but the driveway I came in down here near the abandoned house is open, so I don't want to go where I'm not welcome. But you guys, like, the piled gravel that I traversed, I'm very lucky I don't have a flat tire. Let's just say that. I probably shouldn't have come back here. But I really wanted to get a little closer to that school bus. Old Fairfax County public school bus, maybe from the 60s. I don't know. If you know, tell me. Leave a note in the comments. How old is that school bus? All right, so this is what I'm talking about. Like, oh my gosh, going through a dried seabed. Keep power to the rear wheel. My feet are ready to go down if they need to. Check out this abandoned house. Should we take a quick walk around it? I need to, if we're gonna do that, I need to find a spot to park the motorcycle that's safe. We won't spend a lot of time here. I just thought, since I'm here, why not? Why not? Gross. Bunch of boxes. Nothing that says no trespassing or anything like that. But this is not my house, so I don't want to go inside. Definitely seen better days. Hard to see in that window. At least it still has some windows. I think that's pretty amazing. Yeah, see, there's a lock on that door, which is interesting because other ones are wide open. So here's what appears to be the power box. All right, well, that's enough of that. Makes a good shot. All right, let's get out of here. Get out of here without popping a tire. Well, that was an adventure. Probably more adventure than I wanted today, but oh man, there's not a lot of line of sight here. Should probably go right just to be safe. And then you can always double back around. Check my tires. Look okay. Oh, line of sight's not great here either. All right, so topic of the day. We won't spend a lot of time on this, but I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Some people might rip me a new one on this one. But I wanted to talk about the big bike lie. So what the heck is the big bike lie? And if you've never heard of that, it's new to, don't worry, it's new to me as well. The concept of the big bike lie. But the big bike lie is something that I believe has been coined by Janus motorcycles. And at first I thought it was just something that they were pushing because their bikes are not big. But the more I ride this motorcycle, and then having ridden much larger motorcycles, and now riding this, I can start to see what they're talking about. I think that so many, like I have so many friends that have got to have the biggest motorcycle, like the Road Glide, the Harley Davidson Road Glide, or the Ultra Limited. And I've had those bikes. I've never had a Road Glide, but I had an Ultra Limited for a while. It was a 2016. And I had an Indian Chief Vintage, which is a large motorcycle. That was before the current version of the Chiefs, which are a little bit smaller. I've also had, you know, the Harley Fat Boy, Harley Lowrider ST, all of these bikes. Pretty sure the Fat Boy was over 700 pounds, but 700 to 900 pounds. You talk about the Ultra Limited. I think that thing was almost 900, if not more, because it had the top box on the back and everything. And these bikes, like, they're great on the highway. They're comfortable, but other than that, like, they're a pain in the butt. And maybe it's just me being, you know, 45 years old and just tired of having to fight a big bike. And I know this is the extreme opposite, right? This is a 450, 450cc. You know, but it's not just the physical size of these bikes; it's the motor. So the big bike lie has to do with, it's kind of multifaceted. One part of it is that you need a big, heavy motorcycle. The other part of it is, you know, for like the sport motorcycle and, you know, street bike type of scene, that you need to have that 1000cc, you know, or you know, like a bigger engine. That smaller engines are not enough, and you need that big bike. If you don't have a big bike, then you're not a big boy or a big girl. You know, like, you need to have that larger motor or that larger motorcycle to kind of achieve that status. And I'm telling you, like, having been there and lived the big bike status, it is so overrated. Those bikes are, I mean, I know that, you know, it comes down to riding ability has something to do with it, right? That your confidence on a larger motorcycle is the ability to, you know, confidently keep power to the rear wheel and smooth on the front brake when you're coming to a stop. But, like, if I want to ride my motorcycle and I'm in traffic, or I'm in town and I have to stop for multiple stoplights, like, I don't want to be thinking about every time I come to a stop that I have to have my balance just perfect, and if not, then, you know, I'm gonna have to fight the motorcycle to keep it upright. Because I tell you, like, if you get it wrong and you don't stop correctly and you don't have your balance in check when you come to a stop on one of these 900-pound, 800-pound, 700-pound motorcycles, and you start to, you know, you have the handlebars turned left or right, you know, like, and you lose your balance, it's over. It's over. You know, you're not gonna recover. You just get really good at being able to pick it back up. And to me, that's not exactly fun. The other part is the engine. So like the Harley Davidson, the Lowrider ST is a 1900 plus cc motor, and you know, stage one, no stock cam, but stage one, and I put it, you know, exhaust on it, and that thing just, like, you can't use all that power. It's impractical, really. It's too much power. And somebody's gonna say you're an idiot. You know, there's no such thing as too much power. You know, if it had too much power, then the front end would come off the ground every time you rode it. You know, whatever. Look, it's usable power. I think that's the point. Like, this motorcycle, you know, I can use the whole power band and rev it up as high as I want and enjoy it, you know, and enjoy every bit of the power band of this motorcycle. So I'm really getting the most out of it. Whereas these super high powered sport bikes that go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, like, where do you need that kind of power? Unless you accidentally pull out in front of somebody and, you know, need to get up to speed really fast, or you need to get around somebody really, really fast. But if you're riding like that, that's probably not the best riding, you know, not the safest riding, I guess. But like, this bike is 365 pounds wet weight. It's a lot lighter than most, right? And man, I'm not worried about it at all. You know, even if I start to lose it, I can catch it and pick it right back up. I think that's the one thing about, you know, having a lighter bike is so much more forgiving, and it just makes the experience, especially at slower speeds, such a much more pleasant experience. There's a classic Pizza Hut down there. See the red roof. We love to go there. It's got the checkered tablecloths, the red cups. It does not have a Pac-Man game or Ms. Pac-Man. It does not have a salad bar. So what's up with that? Classic Pizza Hut. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Like, do you really need? Have you seen both sides of the spectrum? I think part of it is maybe, you know, like I said, I'm getting a little older, and I'm just done with big bikes. I'm done with big bikes. So tell me what you think. Do you have a larger motorcycle now? You know, do you have a 700, 800, 900 pound Harley for Indian? And if so, why? You know, what do you think? Like, why do you continue to keep that kind of bike? Or what is it about that bike that makes you want to have a larger motorcycle like that? Do you feel like you're safer on it? Because I feel like I can stop a lot better than a big bike on this, you know. And it's got Brembo brakes front and rear, but it's only got a single disc in the front, and it's better stopping power than any heavier bike, I can tell you that. No, I'm not bashing big bikes. I've been there, I've ridden them, you know, they have their place, I guess. Long touring, you could argue, if you're going across the country, you know, several 1,000-mile trip, maybe it's better. But why? Like, on a windy day, you know, they say a lighter bike gets blown around a little more. And yeah, that's probably true, a little more, but it's also easier to control because it's so light. So that's not really a thing, you know. You know, it's pretty windy today, and it's It's not bothering me one bit. So I saw a picture of a buddy of mine recently, and he posted like a group ride picture with all his friends, and they all had, it wasn't all, I don't think it was all Harleys, but it was all big baggers with big fairings, big batwing fairings and road glides and big saddlebags, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're literally cars on two wheels, you know? And why do you need that much bike? So I know that when I had my Ultra Limited for a while, that, you know, when I first got it out, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is humongous. And, you know, it was smooth on the interstate, you know, I'll give you that. But other than that, there was no advantage of that motorcycle, and it was a pain in traffic. It was such a pain. So I guess my question is, like, if you gotta have that bigger bike, why? And if you gotta have a big motor, why? Is it because you feel like you need it to, you know, the power to pass somebody, you know, you feel like larger motorcycles are, you know, it's something that because you have that big fairing in front of you, that if you get in a crash, that you might be safer. I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out, you know. And I believed the big bike lie for a long time. And when you get there and you get that big bike, that bit with the big motor where you can go really fast, you find yourself kind of over it really fast. Like, it's fun for a while, and then you're like, I'm gonna get myself either killed or in jail or something, because I can't go 100 miles an hour all the time. And that's really what these bigger bikes are meant for. So tell me in the comments, tell me what your thoughts are. I really would love to know, because it's something that I've been wrestling with for a while. And after switching over to a lighter weight bike, I find myself, if I have to choose, which bike do I want to ride today? The heavy bike or the light bike? It's going to be this one every time. And I don't know what would make me choose the heavier bike. Even unless it was, maybe if it was for a very long distance ride, there might be some advantages to a heavier motorcycle. I don't know. But pull it over here and end the video, but I just want to get your thoughts. So please let me know and tell me if you think I'm crazy. That's fine. I don't care. Because I probably am. But I'm really having a blast on this bike. This American hand-built motorcycle is definitely a pleasant surprise. Thankfully, because I did all my research on this bike on YouTube, and definitely was worried that I was not going to be happy. It's definitely a little vibey, just like a Harley, right? Get a little vibration to it, but you can't feel it when you're riding it. It's a happy thing. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to Red Free Moto. That really helps me out. And please give this video a like. That definitely helps me out too. I really appreciate you watching today. Remember, it's who you're becoming. That's what matters the most. And don't forget to comment. I want to know, what do you think? Small bikes, big bikes? Where is it at for you? And why? Why do you want to ride a bigger bike? Why do you want to ride a smaller bike? how old are you? You know, like, I think a lot of it has to do with my age, you know. I'm not an old, I, I'm not a senior citizen, right? But, like, I'm not 20 years old anymore. And I think that I just want to enjoy the ride. I'm tired of, I'm tired of fighting the big bikes. And I'm tired of not having a usable power band, you know. This bike, I can use the whole power band, and it's got plenty of get up and go. I've been really surprised. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks again so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. God bless.